So I always like to laugh to get a little more oxygen in my brain, especially when I'm feeling uncomfortable or nervous or anxious or overthinking or anything where I start to hold my breath. Because laughter, it's just forced laugh. I mean, yeah, laughter is just forced breathing. So when we're laughing, ha 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 ha, we get to take in vast amounts of oxygen, and it helps to regulate our brain chemicals. It helps to feed our brain oxygen and starve our brain, and we just get smarter. So just a quick little tip, Emotional Hygiene 101, how to keep yourself balanced. And today, my topic is grief. It's laughter, joy, and grief. And so, in California right now, we have been experiencing some huge fires. And along with COVID and all that's going on in our nation here in the United States, September 2020, this is a very intense time. Over 950 people lost their homes here in the area where I live. And it's heart-wrenching. So how do we continue to let ourselves feel joy in the middle of things falling apart all around us? Our stress response, the part of us that wants to save us and survive, the survival instinct in us, is going to go into fight or flight, right? Anxiety. That's holding our breath. Or maybe we're panicking. That's too much oxygen in the system. And that puts us in overwhelm. And so we don't always know how to be in our bodies and feel safe. And so guess what laughter does? Even if we're not laughing because anything is funny. Nothing is funny. Nothing is funny. Yeah, and right there, I feel better. Automatically, I feel better. So what I want to say is that grief is a natural response to loss. Grief is an emotion. Grief is an experience. And grief is a deep journey. It's a rich journey. It's a powerful pilgrimage into our hearts and into our bodies. And the gift that grief gives us is it gives us the capacity to know how big our hearts are and how deeply we love. And for me, it's the same experience as laughter. Laughter teaches my body to breathe and to feel joy, like joy, 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 right? Grief, while it's very uncomfortable, it also gives me the opportunity to feel deeply. And the more that we practice feeling, being with the pain, expanding our capacity to be with pain that feels uncomfortable. So let's just do a little laughter on that. We start breathing again. We start accessing our body's wisdom to regulate us, to ground us, to bring us to the present moment, to start breathing again, and then to just have some compassion and loving kindness. I'm sad. Friends of mine have lost their homes. That is support in their lives. Yes, we are resilient. Yes, we will survive and we will thrive again. And yet in the midst of things falling apart, we need connection. Again, another reason to laugh. Laughter connects us to our breath. It connects us to our body. It connects us to each other. When we are laughing together, we are connecting. And especially during these times of COVID, when so many of us are sheltering in place, it's so important to give ourselves permission to connect in positive, uplifting ways. Because if we focus on what's outside of us and decide, okay, I'm going to feel better or good when something good outside of me happens, Let me know when you start laughing. I mean, aside from a baby being born or growing your own garden or really focusing on the beauty, most people, if they're unconsciously living in life, will just go to the negative and go to the stress response because that's just where our survival mechanisms take us. And because of the negativity bias in our brain, we are programmed to focus on the negative for survival. And living in a state of fight or flight all the time will deplete your body. It will lower your immune system. It will leave you overwhelmed and terrified. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me. I don't want that for our nation or our planet, for us to be living from fear all the time. When we practice laughter, we live from joy. We live from spaciousness. We live from expansion. We start living in the moment. We start accessing our brain-body connection, our brain-body wisdom. And we start tapping into our own internal resources instead of freaking ourselves out. Freaking ourselves out. That can be a really easy thing to do these days. Hey, let me just freak myself out. Sure, no problem. It's like a smorgasbord. What do I choose from? When we freak ourselves out and terrify ourselves, we are basically feeding ourselves junk food. We are cutting ourselves off from all of our resources and just giving ourselves the opportunity to basically just eat from a garbage dump. That's not healthy for us. So let's just fake a smile right now. We're not smiling because anything's funny or because we're particularly happy. Let's take a nice deep breath in. And exhale with a sigh. Let's take another nice deep breath in. We're going to laugh it out. You might not enjoy what's happening right now in the world. And sometimes things are painful when they're changing, really painful. And we just get to know that when we connect through this medium, through video, through laughter, through whatever you do to cultivate more peace and resiliency in yourself, then you are practicing really deep self-care. And I just want you to know you're not alone. So reach out if you're having a hard time. This is a part of emotional hygiene. We are learning how to take care of our emotional self and not just like take a shower and feed ourselves, but that's great too. But really just take care of our hearts, take care of our minds, our mental health. Super important. Take care of yourself. I'll see you next time around. Yay.